Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. What's that? Manchester United 4? 4? Fulham 1. You didn't bother watching my preview this morning where I said we would lose, right? I've got to take the big L. Wow, it was a really, really good performance. And Diego Dalot, or however you pronounce it, was brilliant. Where has he been hiding, this kid? He's got to play every game. Now, Paul Pogba was dropped for the second game in a row. My opinion is the same as it was this morning, that Paul Pogba should have been dropped weeks ago, months ago. He just hasn't done it for us on a consistent basis. Now, whether you want to blame Mourinho or the player, at the end of the day, if a player isn't performing or playing to their potential, they have to be dropped. But my problem is that he was probably actually dropped because he spoke back to Mourinho. But he hasn't been doing it. And for the past two games, when he hasn't been playing, actually, the performances in midfield have been a lot better. Herrera, again, fantastic. Now, when you actually look at it, we've had a lot of draws recently. But when was the last time we lost a game? Against City. There's no shame in that, is there? We've been to Juventus and won, as some people will say, luckily. But actually, we haven't lost many games lately. Can this be the turning point? I know, Fulham are not a good side. We beat a really bad side. But Southampton are not great. We struggled. Palace are not great. We struggled. But there seems to be a sign of improvement in the past two games. And of course, that's very, very vital. Listen, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't tell the future. But for today, we played really, really well. And I think it made a lot of people very happy, especially the way we played, the way we won, the type of goals we scored. All very, very important. But when was the last time you can remember Manchester United scoring 3 or more goals? So it's an improvement. And any improvement right now is something to be positive about. Now, Mourinho has had a big job on his hands since he come in. And it started off really well. But it's been very negative this season. He's really gone at his own players. And funnily enough, the players seem to still be playing for him. When you look at the amount of times we've gone behind and players are still full, and we've come back and scored in injury time, come back from 2 goals down at Old Trafford against Newcastle. So there must be an element of the team that are still playing with him, that are still with him. Listen, I believe that this guy should leave. I do. At this moment in time. What would change my mind? Well, if we could finish in the top 4, or actually do quite well in the Champions League and finish in the quarter or semi-finals, and maybe win the FA Cup, I'd be quite happy. I know that's a lot to ask, but at the end of the day, we are Manchester United after all. He's come in, things have been very negative, they haven't worked how he thought they would. Some of his signings have been dodgy. Pogba, let's be honest, is a 90 million flop. And I know he's got a lot of fans, but he hasn't done it consistently. He hasn't given those world-class displays we saw him do in the summer for France and what he did for Juventus. That is the reality of the situation. Now, I can't sit here blaming Pogba or blaming Mourinho. I don't know what's to blame. All I know is a world-class player hasn't been playing like a world-class player. You drop him, 2 games in, the performances are improved. Now, I don't agree with Mourinho calling him a virus, but when you see improvement when a player's been dropped, that says a lot. He does need the players pulling in the same direction. His direction, maybe Pogba is an issue, maybe Pogba isn't an issue. But at the end of the day, the performance was brilliant. The players stuck together, played well, and fulfilled their potential against a very, very weak side. We've got Valencia midweek. I think Liverpool is our next league game. I can't remember. Don't kill me if that's not true. I think Liverpool is going to be the game where we see if real improvements have been made or it's another false dawn. Mourinho is in the precipice of being sacked. He's standing on the edge of the cliff. If he doesn't qualify for the Champions League, he's finished. So that's the fight now. That's the fight. Is it improbable that we finish in the top 4? No. But it's very difficult with a horrible start to the season. It has been a horrible first start to the season. But who's to say Mourinho can't turn it around and get a consistency of team selection, like from this game to Arsenal's game, and a consistency of results? That's very important now. Will it happen? If Mourinho can turn this around, the man has got my respect. But right now we've seen so many negative things, so many excuses. Some of the things he says are unbelievable. Can he still turn it around? Can he still become a successful manager here at Manchester United? Apparently he wants to stay. Apparently he's happy. I don't know. As I say, I don't know what the future holds. But I will say one thing. We played well today. Well done, boys.